The start, Wiggins again. Here's Curry for the record. It's good! And there it is! Stephen Curry, the all-time three-point king in the NBA. Three-pointer number 2974. The man who changed the game. The igniter of the three-point revolution in the NBA. And now he stands alone at the top of the three-point list.
But now I'm going around playgrounds and I'm looking at kids that are taking those shots. So is he ruining the next generation of basketball players by him making it look so easy, Zeke?
I won't say he's ruining it, but what he's done, for coaches, he's made taking bad shots acceptable.
The meteoric rise of Stephen Curry as one of the best basketball players of all time has generated a lot of debate amongst fans. You won't find many people nowadays that don't think of him as an all-time great, and most would even concede he's the best shooter of all time. But one thing that has been contested and argued is the impact his style of play has had on the sport. In a league that has had copious amounts of scoring individually for years, like Wilt scoring 100 points or Kobe scoring 81, it's almost turned unrecognizable in some aspects. Compared to the NBA of 20 years ago, there's been parts of the game such as mid-range scoring and post scoring that, because of the emergence of small ball lineups, have become almost completely ignored. With that being said, some have argued that Steph Curry's emphasis on three-point shooting has taken away from the basic fundamentals of the game, and in a way ruined basketball in the NBA, while others would argue that seeing a point guard that isn't oversized like Oscar Robertson or Magic Johnson dominate the league while showing an ability to shoot the ball better than anybody else has in history brought a new level of excitement, inclusion, and skill to the game. However, we've had certain people in the basketball media and even former players claim that Steph's style of letting it fly from wherever and whenever has ruined the game of basketball in the NBA. That this movement of outshooting your opponent, spearheaded by the babyface assassin himself, has led to the decline of other aspects of the game, such as throwing it down to your star and letting them go to work in the post like we've seen Hakeem and Tim Duncan do, which led to their teams winning championships, or doing what other championship teams did like the '04 Pistons or the Bulls in the '90s and attacking their opponents from the mid-range. In some people's eyes, teams and the NBA as a whole has become too reliant on the three-point shot, leading to a decrease in offensive variety. When you've got a player like Curry reaching unseen heights of success with this style of play, it leads to an increase of imitation. And yes, this could apply to your local gym, but I'm not talking about the kids at the Y pulling up from half court screaming Curry, with some of the future and current NBA players trying to replicate his success by just focusing on the shooting aspect of Steph's game when they're trying to imitate, instead of focusing on the basic skills that are needed for better development as a player in the future. And due to the increase of the volume of three-point shots being taken, we've seen other phenomenal shooters like Trae Young enter the league, and we've seen Trae hit threes from insane range and pull up from almost half court, giving some people cause to proclaim him as quote-unquote the next Steph. But what I see is that same imitation and deterioration critics have said Steph has caused. Curry is a special player whose playstyle in its entirety can't be mimicked, and not because of the range or the difficulty of the three-point shot making, but the efficiency he does it at. And that's where Trae Young doesn't compare to Steph. He's only hit threes at a 35.1% clip for his career to Steph's 42% from three, and just this season Curry is at a 42% again from three, significantly better than Trae, who is at an abysmal 32% with nearly 5 less threes being taken per game. I feel like the only player that could be an exception to the failed imitation is Damian Lillard, who actually just dropped 71 points himself. He takes just as crazy as shots as Steph, but he's hovered around 40% from three his entire career, and even shooting 38% this season while taking the most threes per game he ever has. So I can see where people are coming from when they say that the game is deteriorating because of what Steph has started, and people seeing his success with that style of play has caused them to try to take that aspect of his game and only focus on that part. And on the other hand, we have the supporters of Curry, who argue that not just with his shooting, but fun style of play has brought a new level of excitement, inclusion, and skill to the game. Being able to work on your shooting and coordination to the point of dominating the NBA, which is filled with crazy athletes such as the likes of LeBron and his unmatched athleticism even at this age, or KD's height, which allows him to take shots over countless people. This has inspired other people across the world to try to be the best player that they can be, that you don't need extreme athleticism or height to succeed. Steph's style of play is thrilling to watch anytime you get the chance. His ability to shoot from long range has forced teams to adapt their defensive game plans and add more wrinkles into their defenses than ever before, even to the point of hitting so many threes that even if the opposing team wanted to slow their offense down to control the pace, they'd be forced to keep up with the attack from three Curry produces almost every time, unless he's luckily missing that day.
Who's the most difficult player to guard?
Oh, man.
Right now, it probably is Steph. Like I said, he spaces the floor, and he makes his teammates better, and he makes the right play every single time. And if you're not ready and you're not down and you don't got your matchups ready, it's going to be trouble for you.
While I think there's valid arguments on both sides of the debate, I think it's important to acknowledge the unique talent and skill Stephen Curry brings to the game. He's a one-of-a-kind player who has taken over the NBA, not only with his play, but his marksmanship that revolutionized the game of basketball. The way he's been able to pull up from anywhere in the gym and hit from long range with incredible consistency has forced teams to entirely overhaul their defensive game plan, where not only do you have to stick on him without helping on other matchups, leaving you one-on-one with other players on the team, but if Curry hits more than 1 3, you're forced to blitz him every time and run him off that three-point line, therefore leaving his teammates with an easy lane to the bucket or a wide open three themselves. His off-ball movement or on screens and the attention he brings has opened up dynamic sets the Warriors can run, where even if the goal isn't an open shot for Steph, an open shot is still produced due to the gravity he creates himself. Creating for others in this aspect goes extremely unnoticed, along with his passing ability. But when his shooting ability is mentioned, nobody talks about what it opens up for other players on that team. And now I don't think awards and accomplishments are everything.
He's a 4-time NBA champion, a 2-time league MVP, a member of our 75th anniversary team, and for the first time ever, he's an NBA Finals MVP.
But when you're able to achieve this while also winning championships in the process and giving the Warriors numerous winning seasons, there's nothing anybody can put on you to say that you necessarily ruined the NBA. They can say you changed it, but as we've seen before, like with Wilt Chamberlain and the rule changes, sometimes players are so good, they entirely change the way a game is played with just their production. And as with change in any sport, there are pros and cons, but it's ultimately up to the fans and players to adapt and evolve with the game. Stephen Curry's legacy will continue to inspire and challenge basketball players for years to come. It's insane to me that sometimes when I think about what basketball could be in the next 10 years, honestly. We have seen people pull up from the logo like it's nothing nowadays, or hit off-balance shots that would get you pulled from a game in the 90s. But let me know what you think in the comments. Did Steph ruin basketball in the NBA, making everyone think they can pull up from half court? Or is that just a product of him being so good that the very fabric of the NBA is being changed forever? Comment and let me know what you think down below, because the NBA that we've seen for the past 20 years is finished. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe, and don't smoke your labs.